So hello, welcome to XTen. Another day, another project. So this is my 2006 Subaru Forester XT. This was my daily driver until I replaced it with the Santa Fe. Reason I stopped driving it was the wheel. I suffered from a lower wishbone failure, or lower control arm failure. Low speed, thankfully. But yeah, that wheel is not where it should be. Now, I don't know if you can quite see on this video, but it's got a significant amount of camber on it. And if you look at the direction it's pointing, compare that to the other side, yeah, something's not right there. So I know for a fact it snapped the arm. I haven't even jacked the car up. I'd literally put my head underneath it and solve the problem. I parked the car up, thought I'm just going to sell this as spares or repair, but since we're currently under lockdown in the UK and it's nice weather, I thought, let's give it a go fixing it. So first job to do is, before I even jack it up, is get the centre cap off, and I need to crack off the hub nut which retains the drive shaft, front drive shaft, because I think I've picked up some, well, I know I've picked up some universal joint damage at the same time as the arm went. So pop that off, and then the second job, before any work even happens, is to coat everything in WD-40, and I mean coat it in WD-40. These nuts and the fasteners which hold the arms on probably have never been undone. The car's 14 years old, so that's the jobs. So yeah, let's get on with it. Wheels off, loosened that nut off. There's a little sort of area where you deform the nut into that groove. I just had to break that off with a screwdriver, also hammer it back with a screwdriver. 32mm socket on the breaker's bar stood on the other end and she cracked off, which is good. But yeah, I think the expression is, there's your problem. So you can see that that arm there, which goes to the sort of front part of the wishbone, completely detached. And yeah, I don't think that should do that. And then you probably can't see, but right at the back, yeah, you probably don't see, but the drive shaft has actually popped out the gearbox, so out the transmission. So yeah, problems. Right, okay, so I need to remove this wishbone. So there's a nut and a bolt at the back there that needs to come off. This mechanism needs to come off. This is for the self-leveling headlights. It's quite interesting actually, when I was looking for new wishbones, a lot of people upgrade to the JDM items, which are like an alloy wishbone. Most of those didn't actually have the extra tab on to support that arm. So I eventually found some pressed steel ones, which I didn't really want to use, but they'll do the job. They're genuine Subaru. So anyway, yeah, need to take off the anti-roll bar link, which is down here. We need to break off the ball joint, which is like a funny upside down one, which is there. And right at the back here, there's a bushing. I'm not quite sure how you get to the nut. I think you've got to get to it from behind and below. So basically, I'm going to soak all that with WD-40. I'm not going to do any more today. I'm going to come back tomorrow, then hopefully these should come off with the assistance of a breaker's bar and possibly me air gun, windy gun. So right, let's do that. So it's the next day. I've cut the anti-roll bar mount off. Yeah, just ignore him. I've cut the anti-roll bar mount off. Just from experience, I know that the holes just round off, so cut that off. First job I'm going to do then is try and get the ball joint undone. So I need to take the split pin out first. So yeah, get that on, then I'll try and get the socket on. Right, the castellated nut, which holds the bottom ball joint on, is out. That was FT, very tight. Guess what the F means. So that's off now. I still need to separate the ball joint. Not too worried about that for now. I think I'll concentrate on those bolts at the back while I'm on a roll. So yeah, I think I'll probably do that one. Although that's not essential at the moment because that's the bit which is broken off. I might have better access once I actually get the arm out of the way. So actually I'll work on the back one now, see if I can get that off. The nut for the back of the car is also off now, 22mm. If the ball joint was FT, that was very FT. Very difficult to get in to undo it. I had to use a breaker's bar, but a short breaker's bar, because I couldn't get the car up any higher because my jack was at its maximum reach. And then the subframe's actually in the way as well, so you could turn it about 45 degrees and then it would sort of catch on the subframe. So just got to take your time, but that is quite loose now. So I think I might try and separate that ball joint, get what's left of the arm off, and then I can get that sort of front bit off. I'll have a bit better access. Well, I took some hammering with the fork, separate the ball joint, but what's left of the arm is off. And finally get a good look at it. And yeah, you can see the failure point there. Nice to see sort of water's got in, it's corroded and it's just ripped off. So still got that bit to do in there. Well, I think I'm going to have a rest now and come back to that tomorrow. Again, I've soaked that in WD-40, so it should just be a case of undoing the nuts and yeah, we'll be winning. So the last bolt, which was holding in what was left of the arms out, put up quite a fight. The 17mm either end, but the nut rounded off quite a bit. So it's a bit tricky, but we got it off in the end, and now this should come out. It says. There we are. So yeah, I think that's seen better days. I mean, interestingly, there's a lot of corrosion on the inside of that. I will have a proper look later, but I think it's failed from the inside out. But yeah, anyway, that's a job for later. Right, I think I'll do a quick clean up of everything in here, get rid of all the flakes of rust, and then I think I'll sort out that drive shaft which has popped out. This next bit is going to be quite tricky. So these are the bearings which go on the drive shaft. I don't know if you can see it in there. So you can see all the grease, you can see the pot it's come out of. Each one of these goes on the end of the spider on the drive shaft, and it's a bearing, and it allows for the free movement. Bizarrely, these are not retained by any circlips or any retaining pins or anything. When the drive shaft popped out, I found one on the floor next to the car, found another one after I pushed it, and I found a third one like caught in the under tray. So yeah, basically I need to somehow get these back on. Bear in mind, two of them will be sitting at an angle, and push the drive shaft back in. Then it's going to need a new clip on the CV joint. So on the CV joint, sort of plastic rubber housing. So I'm not sure whether to do this now or take advantage of the drive shaft being free to get the new wishbone in, but yeah, I think I'll give it a go now and see what happens. So it became very obvious that I wasn't going to get those bearings onto the spider without taking the drive shaft off. So as I remembered, the first job I did was loosening off that nut. Just pulled the drive shaft out the hub, and there we are. Yeah, all on the bench now. So now I can see about getting these onto there. I think they'll just need a slight push fit or slight hammer on. So I'll set up the camera and see if I can show you doing that. Probably a little bit more to go on there. Just trying to do it in a circular pattern so it goes on evenly. Yep, right, the next one's done. So yes, they did need a bit more hammering home. They should float like that. They all float nicely now. Obviously free to rotate. So I'm not sure why they came off really. I don't know if it's just the force of the drive shaft popping out. It just sort of clipped them off, knocked them off. But anyway, glad I found those and back on. Just going to clean this up. I'm happy with the gate as fine, doesn't need replacing. I'll clean it up, I'll re-grease it. I'll put a new clip on when it's on the car. I think I'll just generally clean up the drive shaft and then, yeah, we'll start reassembling the suspension. So we're ready for reassembly. I'm going to put the lower arm on first, do the two inboard connections, then I'll get the drive shaft back in, then I'll get the ball joint on. So on the rear of it, it's got these like rubber washers which go in. So your rubber washer there, then you've obviously got the subframe, and then you've got another rubber washer, and then the large washer on the back, and then the nut. So let's try and get this into position. So I managed to get that in. What I had to do was I had to put the nut on the back, start winding the nut in, and I just sort of pulled the assembly along. I think it was binding on the rubber bushing, but now it's in, and the fronts are lined up as well. So there we are. I can get the front bolt in now. Just while we're here, I didn't change the bush at the back. There's nothing wrong with it. Likewise, the ball joint seems absolutely fine as well, but if you've got any doubts and you're in this area doing this work, you might as well just change them at the same time. So right, I'm going to get those bolts in, then we'll look at getting the drive shaft back in and then get everything torqued up. This next bit is going to be quite difficult to film, so I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see it or not. But basically I need to get the drive shaft back on. Before that I need to fill the boot full of grease and put this clip on. And once this clip is on, basically tighten it up. So it's just got like several holes in it, and it sort of clicks and locks into position like that. And then you pinch that or squeeze that and it puts a bit more pressure on it and tightens it up. So I need to get that on, and I think it's going to be quite awkward. You probably, if you were doing this at home, you probably wouldn't have to take your drive shaft out, but obviously I'm doing it because it all went wrong for me. So right, I'll see if I can get this in, and I'll see if I can get you in a position where you can see it. Right, so I'm going to try and put the sort of splined end in first into the hub. To do that I need to take the nut off, which I haven't done, which I should have done before I did all of this, but here we go. Right, okay, that's off. Let's get the hub in position. See, you can't see what I'm doing there, but I am trying to turn the hub and then line the splines up so the drive shaft goes in. Right, that's in the hub. And now I need to get this into there, which is going to be tricky because it needs to rotate. Just try turning the hub a bit. Right, after quite a wrestle, that's gone in. Now we need to get this on. You really aren't going to see it, so I'm just going to skip this bit of the video and yeah, imagine what a man looks like trying to struggle to put that on. So I just thought I'd quickly show you this as well before I get any further. The arm which does the leveling for the headlights, it's obviously snapped off. You've still got part of the bracket on. Incredibly difficult to undo the nut. It's only a 10mm nut, but because you've got so much free play in the arm, it just the whole thing wanted to twist and deform. So I've clamped it onto the anti-roll bar, and that's just given me enough sort of clamping force to loosen off that nut. But you can see how the whole thing just wants to twist. So yeah, I did have the idea of trying to undo the whole arm, take the whole arm off, but that nut's rounded off, so no chance of that. And just after filming that, I got the nut off and it sheared the bolt. So the bolt isn't quite long enough to go through the wishbone anymore. So I'm going to have to cut that off and just replace it with a plain bolt. The fun of working on a rusty car. So I've got all the nuts holding the wishbone on finger tight. So now I need to tighten them up with the torque wrench. So this torque setting is apparently 125 newtons for the rear, from the the wishbone to the cross member. So I've got my torque wrench set up to 125 and we'll keep going until it tightens up. It's getting quite tight, that. Just checking that the nut on the back isn't slipping, isn't turning. No, okay, right, just reposition myself and hopefully this will be the click. There we are, 125 Newton meters. Right, same on the back and then do the ball joint as well. To do the ball joint up, I've just jacked up the wishbone gently using a block of wood and the jack. It's allowed me to do the nut up without the wishbone the ball joint slipping on the wishbone. It's like a cone tapered connection, so you need that friction of the wishbone being pushed up to stop it spinning. And then the torque on this is 50 Newton meters. I'm actually using a new nylock nut rather than the original castellated nut. So yeah, I think that's about 50 already actually. No, but I'll wang it up a bit more because it doesn't feel super tight, that, so. Right, happy with that. When I've got the jack in position as well, that'll help just to raise this wishbone a bit to get the new anti-roll bar drop link in as well, which I've got here. So let's see if we can get that in position now. Hopefully I've just got it jacked up enough. Needs to be jacked up just that little bit more. Obviously I've only got one side of the car jacked up at the moment, so the anti-roll bar is not in its neutral position, so I'll jack it up a little bit more. I'll get that in, tighten that up, and then I think we're ready to put the wheel back on. Right, that's back together. The drop link went together quite easily. These aftermarket drop links, not only have they got a recessed hex there, but they've also got flats on the back as well, so very easy to get tightened up. Quick sense check and everything's pretty solid, nothing's going anywhere. Still got the hub nut to do up. Can only do that once the car's back on the ground and the wheel's on, so a bit of oil I need to clean up from where the drive shaft popped out, and yeah, I think we're nearly there. So right, get the wheel on. Right, final couple of jobs. So connecting up the hub nut, 186 Newton meters, so I've got the torque wrench on, so let's see if we can get it to that. Using my foot as leverage, get back a bit more. That's 186, and then the final job, just the nut needs peening over into the little groove, and then actually that's quite good to know that the groove, or the little dint which was there, lines up with the drive shaft nicely, so I must have it about right. So I'll hammer that over, centre cap in, job done. So there we are, complete, all back together. I still have the other side to do, but I'm not going to film that. It's exactly the same, except you haven't got the headlight leveler on that side. That arm has not failed, but I don't trust it really, so I've got another arm to go on it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Something a little bit different. I've been working outside on this one rather than in the garage, but hopefully it shows you that you can do it yourself if you've got a sort of half decent 1/2 inch drive socket set. I recommend probably about 2 to 3 hours to do it. It's taken me a lot longer, but I've been doing it over the course of a number of days just because I've had other things on, so just done it when I've had the time. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment as well. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe or to comment on the videos. Hope you've enjoyed it, and stay tuned for some more videos. See you later.